We don't have any sound.
What?
Oh dear, this Indian guy. Done.
Who's the commentators? Us. Oh.
What do you mean?
The stream doesn't hear everyone. Like, when you speak though. And Deco. I can hear Deco.
May. TV director does not do that for qualifying. Yes, I know it's gay.
What about him? He's drifting. Heat up them tires.
Yes.
Stream seems really good. It is. Yep.
Yes. He can't hear us talking. That's what it means.
No, you? No. Not much.
It's loud enough.
Doesn't matter. Who- FIFA? Are you talking about that guy? Yeah. I know, but the FIFA guy.
You idiot. Oh, wow.
BMX twins sets of PB.
I had the stream open while Tivo was laughing, so he's like triple laughing.
That can't go well. Are you commentating just now, or what's happening? Oh, hello everybody.
Too bad Car and Shandok isn't doing this.
Mirror. Is it possible to go on board?
Let's try out. That viewers is Phil Diaz versus TV director. This happens quite a lot in Phil's little world.
The roof cam was down. Seriously, this can't end well.
So currently a little rundown of the grid. Nogic on pole for Poland, Great Britain, Isaac Price second, Blasco third for Spain, Runas fourth for Lithuania. Yeah, ooh, where's Nogic going? What on earth are you doing, son? He's flying through the air. Oh, he's spectating now. Weird. Fifth, Italy, Cravato. Sixth, Serbia, Janssen. Seventh, Turkey, Tufekik. Eighth, Bulgaria, Ivanov. Ninth, Finland. 10th, Kampars, Latvia. 11th, United States of America, Kingsbury, Ray. 12th, Slovakia, Cap Lavaka. 13th, Alexic, Canada. 14th, Falkenberg, Germany. And last at the moment in this qualifying session, India, Ragazech. So at the moment, if you're watching the stream, you're currently watching Phil Diaz trying to work TV director. This is round one of the Nations League Cup. That's Kyoto National reverse with the TBOs. Mainly, most people using the FXO, which is the fastest car around here. And a reminder for you all that this race will be 3 16-lap races, BTCC-style, which means the last race will have a slightly reversed grid, which should be interesting for everybody to see. Red flag means end of session, basically. And get out of the server if you're not on a lap still.
What do you think about this qualifying system, Chris? Has this ever been used before?
Maybe Timu, you'd like to explain the qualifying system a little bit more in depth for our viewers before I answer that question.
Well, basically the thing is, this will make the admin's work easier by just telling people to disconnect after 15 minutes, and then the second group joins and does their laps, and they don't have to go through replays and screenshots and everything to get the real qualifying result, so to speak, for the first race.
Aha, well I've never seen that used before, but that does seem like a smart idea from the administration team. It seems to be working, because it appears that people are now connecting to the server, and as soon as the last few places, one person from Finland, one person from India I think are still on track, they'll be going. But yeah, that does seem reasonably sensible, Timu. I do not know. There we go, he's been spectated. But no, that was not legit, that was illegal. Here's a question, did the broadcast here fail? They can't hear you, can hear you. Okay. So they can hear me talking to myself right now. I am not delusional, Phil Diaz is talking.
He's not, they're lying.
Isaac Price is ginger.
Makes me cooler than you.
As they all wait green flag to go out for the second part of this qualifying session, as Time decides to reverse into the second Latvian car. There we go, out of the bits. Green flag is given. And they all plunge out onto the track as Joe Holmes decides to go drifting in his FXO for Great Britain. Carefully you don't crash into Samsa Yurvansu for Finland there. Tyan, whoa. Tyan decides as XRT to make a drift chicane coming out the pits. I shall be back in a minute to enjoy the silence.
I think Joe Holmes and Samsa got together there on the start-finish strip.
Yeah, we are right now on board with one of the Norwegian drivers, Jartein, also known as Arox. Could you maybe describe the lap while you're doing your hot lap, Arox?
Well, I haven't done too much laps here, but what you do in XRT is brake quite early into this turn 1, into 3rd gear, try to cut it as early as possible, and then try not to get on the grass there. You'll have dirt on your tires and less grip. As soon as you can, out of that corner, accelerate, and just cruise into this corner. Brake while you turn. Make sure you don't lock up unless you have ABS. And this small straight with the high-speed chicane, that doesn't really matter. Flick it into this high-speed left. Some people might go off because there's no curb on the exit. And this corner, it's quite difficult with different lines. You might take it tight, others might take it wide. And this is a short straight into the second split. Brake just as the curb starts and stay tight over the curb into the final chicane and final corner before coming onto the oval. And that's it. Just follow the oval.
Yeah, thank you for that, Aros. And still looks like we have Nojek from Poland on pole, Joe Holmes from Great Britain 2nd, and Isaac Price from Great Britain in 3rd.
Go, go, Great Britain, go!
Oh, by the way,
no
no
admin bias there from Chris Ford.
That's not advice, commentary bias. Get it right, Isaac.
A rookie error there by Tomek.
No, we all know the rookie errors only come from you now. If you want to play along with when will Isaac Price crash into somebody today, please press 1.
1.
Feel free to place bets on an RFS forum about how many times I'll crash into my own teammate during this race.
If you get the answer correct, you get a picture of
Chris's sister.
Simon Cattell's sister.
Oh, I thought you got a cookie.
Then Miko would guess all the numbers in the world, and we don't really want to go there.
Decker, you would rather have a cookie than Simon's sister.
I haven't seen Simon's sister, so I can't vouch.
Don't you get it? From that sister, you might get more cookies. Most precious time trying to explain a lap that sucked.
top 11 or so drivers all within a second. It's a very, very closely compact grid. The top XRT is in 13th position. That's actually the first non-FXO. We don't actually have a single RB4, which I think is a rather big shame.
Shame.
Yeah, the FXO is definitely the car to drive, at least in qualifying, with its higher top speed. But I think the XRT is gonna be up there in the races because the tires of the FXO heats up quite much faster than the XRTs.
Yeah, I think. How many positions do you expect an XRT to gain on the FXO off the grid, Timo?
Probably 3.
It's apparent, as far as I'm aware, it's a rolling start, so the XRT's advantage will be it'll be just the end of races and stuff like that. I think it is a bit faster on the straights as well, but it's sort of hard to tell.
But yeah, I definitely think we're gonna see XRT cars gaining positions coming closer to the end of the races, because it's easier to keep the tires cool.
Yeah, I mean, going fast in FXO isn't that hard. Like, the gap between me, Joe, and Imol isn't so much, but when the looking after the tyres comes into it, the gap gets bigger. That's the main challenge in FXO. So XRT tyres aren't colder, but they stay balanced, so they're easier to manage. Whereas FXO, the rear tyres get up to temperature, but the fronts are overheating, and that makes it worse. You start to understeer. Even though the actual temperature isn't worse on the front, the balance changes more.
Red flag.
Imol will just have had a crisis in the car as he sees the red flag, even though he's not actually. Oh yeah, he isn't. No, he isn't in the car, is he? So he won't have had a crisis. He'll just.
I thought it was 20 minutes qualifying.
It's 15.
No, 15 I think.
Oh. I thought I had really good times. I was like, oh, let's pit and do another lap.
Great Britain seem to be without their wonderful team manager today, Isaac Price. How do you think that will affect your performance?
Really?
Relaying his expertise.
Well, I mean, without his excellent expertise, I'm sure we'll all have less Prost within us and not look after our tyres as much. But probably it's a better thing that he's not here.
And how much practice have you done for this, Isaac?
I did like a couple of days. Like I did a couple of like laps about the start of this week, and then I did that a couple of laps each day until sort of the middle of the week. But then I sort of thought that Simon would be driving, so didn't really put much practice into it, and then found out today that there's a chance I'd be racing, and then had to race. So I don't think I could go that much hard. Like, I'm over one lap for qualifying, it hasn't made a difference. I'd still be third if I'd done more practice, but I haven't really done more than 5 laps on a race set in a row, so it'll be hard. It'll be a learning experience in the first race, especially seeing as I'm somebody who's generally hard on their tyres anyway, so if I could finish third, I'd be happy.
Is pump drafting allowed in this league?
It is BTCC, and I believe the BTCC is allowing bomb draft, so I suppose... if
We might
allow
see
it-
some ITCC style here then. With
Oh joy,
people
just what we need.
pump drafting 2 or 3 cars. Would be pretty epic.
The thing you got to watch out for on that is that in an FXO, I mean, the oval is flat, but if you push each other there, you're actually going to make your front tyres wear more. So, I mean,
Push all the cars.
so it's possible, but it's not going to be something that's used massively, I'd imagine. As well as staying close enough to actually be in their draft is quite hard in these cars, because you don't actually get as big an effect from draft, and you get quite a lot of understeer on the exit of the last corner because of the way the curve is there. You got to get the line right, otherwise you fail in that corner. So it's quite hard to stay close when you're following another car. But it does add a tactical element to the race. Like if somebody gets to run on you at the start of the straight, you can let them through and then get back past them again at the end of the straight, going into D1.
I'm gonna win this race.
It's good to stay optimistic, Alex.
Oh yeah. I'm starting 22nd with a slower car.
I'm surprised so many people are using FXO. I mean, it is the faster car, but I thought that more people would actually use XRT because in the past it has been a better choice because of the tyres, whereas here the tyres don't seem to be as bad, but as much as anything that's down to setup, so...
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out towards the end of the races with the tires and all that.
Yes, racing DBO is definitely a skill to it that's different. You've got to be a lot more patient than you do in GTRs.
So, who are you guys gonna put your money on for winning the first race?
I think the first race will be Team Vires.
Team Vires. Okay. Team Vires. Who are you guys gonna put your money on for winning the first race?
I think the first race will be Team Vires.
Who are you guys gonna put your money on for winning the first race?
I think you are.
Very good choice.
I actually feel the stream is stuck for me, but I'm on the server, so.
It's your real dad.
Oh, I want to say, well, as soon as we're on stream, I will say this here instead. Yeah, Tark will wreck me in the pit lane again. Ruin me in the pit lane, even to quote his exact words.
Alright, we'll move to common truck, shall we?
Sure.
Are we having Arox now?
So here we are then for the first round of the 2011-2012 Nations World League, a new league here in Live for Speed. And John Vollmer along with Chris Ford here. And this is the first round, as mentioned. It's going to be a British touring car style format. 3 races here. Combo we got today, the turbo cars, that being the FXO, XRT, and RB4 here at Kyoto Ring National reversed. And Chris, this track, it's a fairly fast track. You may not always think it's a turbo track, but it does have a bit of a challenge also.
In a way, yes, it has a bit of a challenge. It's a fast track with some sweeping bends and some. It's hard on the tires, which will be hard for the TBOs really to manage with the road tires. The tires don't cool down as much as sort of slick rubber. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, especially in the FXO, whether the tires last.
And of course, being BTCC style, you can have this wonderful thing that's caused so much controversy before in ITCC, other series. The wonderful world of a little bit of bump drafting.
Well, I suppose that Timu might be the better person to ask about bump drafting. Timu Evening's here with us as well. Timu, what do you think about potential for bump drafting today down that long front straight?
Well, I personally hope to see quite a lot of it because I think it adds something extra to the racing, and it gives opportunity to people that maybe did lose some time in first laps or something to team up with someone else on the track who also lost time and try and make the time to the leader shorter by bump drafting on the long oval and long straight you have, which might not gain you time. I don't drive these cars so much myself, but I try bump that draft as much as I can whenever I'm racing, so it's going to be interesting to see, and I think it's a good idea.
Of course, the TBOs do actually, well, we know from the Kyoto 250 that thing isn't too bad in XRT. I do wonder, in the oval section with the FXO, where the understeer might become a little bit of a problem on the oval section itself.
Yeah, the FXOs are quite understeery, or it has an understeery driving style. It wears much more on the front tires, so people bump drafting FXO around the oval are probably not going to be able to go full throttle. I think they're going to have to make a lift in the middle of the turn to be able to not kill the tires completely and to make the turn itself.
The 3 races today will be each 16 laps racing distance, and they will start after a rolling lap behind the safety car.
It sort of takes away a little bit of an advantage the XRT had over the FXO here. It's a slightly, well, it is a slower package than the XRT. No, not the XRT. Brain is for some reason foreboding me today. Than the FXO, and off the line the XRT would have gained quite a fair bit on most of the FXOs in front, so it's a little bit of a kick in the teeth having a rolling start if you're an XRT driver, but I think they might have little horsepower advantage, but we shall see down into turn 1, which isn't too much of a break-in zone, Timu, and I think that it's going to get quite narrow down into turn number 1 with that long straightaway leading into a narrowing turn that has plenty of cause for collision, I would suspect, out there today.
Yep. So, quick look at the starting lap. We'll go by country here. We'll have Poland starting first. Great Britain with cars in 2nd and 3rd. Spain 4th, 5th. Lithuania 6th. Italy, Serbia, then Poland again. Another Serbian car. Another Italian car behind them. Turkey, Finland, Bulgaria, Finland again. Lithuania, Latvia. 2nd Spain car. Belgium. We'll have Turkey. Also the United States of America with a couple entries. First of them, 21st. Norway, Jarl Tyen in there. Latvia, Slovakia, 2 Canadian cars starting back to back. Matt Kingsbury in the furthest back starting USA car, and last on the grid, Thilo Falkenberg for Germany. So just a bit of final question asking here. Going on the race, and we got Jarl Tyen in here in the channel with us to serve as kind of an in-race reporter. Let's see if we can get a hold of him. Arak, see if you got us. Hello. So you're starting a little further back in the grid. How are you going to attack the start of the race?
I'm just gonna take it as it comes. I'm gonna be careful into turn 1, look after people that will go for dive bombs and overtake around the outside, etc. So I'll just be easy. I won't take any risks.
Are you a little bit concerned over some of the people you're around heading into that first corner?
Well, I have a lot of FXOs around me. I don't know if they have an advantage or disadvantage on the start, but just wait and find out.
I think that we're just ready to go. The administration team just trying to come to the last little bit of organisation. Team Vires organised lead. This is their first one. I think they've done properly. They seem to be doing a decent job so far, so hopefully that'll continue. Miro Rauti taking the lead administration zone role. Crikey, my brain is really not working today. You can tell I haven't done one of these for a while. And yeah, he seems to be taking to it like a duck to water. Or an emo to a blade, in his case, potentially is a better metaphor.
Yep, so single file start. Safety car line, of course, in the last turns, coming back onto the oval section. Can go anytime after that safety car line. So a single file start, which will take away a little bit of the drama of side-by-side action on the start, of course. But hey, it's a new concept, and it's a little bit of a unique one.
Yeah, it definitely benefits the FXO because the car is so slow off the grid from a standing start, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, kind of similar to A1GP in terms of being based on countries more so than drivers, but of course we'll have, of course it has multiple different formats over each round, unlike A1GP, which carries the same format just over different tracks and of course distances. So while the drivers are running, just waiting for the administration to get the fire in the hole. So of course, one pace lap here, and as we set off on this pace lap, yeah, it's a very tricky first turn.
So as I was trying to ask Timu before I realised he'd gone on a quick break. Timu, turn 1 here after that long oval section with a rolling grid. Should be pretty interesting, do you not think? I think there could be a concertina effect and probably a crash, I'm going to suggest, into that first braking zone.
Yeah, I have a feeling people won't take it too easy in this. They want to gain as many positions as you can at the start and going aggressive, which might as well cost you the race. And as the turns narrow in from the wide oval into especially turn 2, it's really narrow and probably can't fit more than 2 cars side by side. And you have a buggy curb on the left side, on the inside, which if you get caught in that, you spin right away. There's nothing you can do to save it.
The added complexity of the added complexity of that buggy curb that they're just going over now, and goes the safety car and Team Poland into there. It's a real nasty one, that. You think the first braking zone is a bit interesting in these cars, and then you think you finally got that nailed, and then you hit that curb a little bit wrong, get spun around. It's not very rewarding, to say the least. As they warm their tyres and get ready for the start through this little mini chicane. Down toward this long right-hander, which in the race I think will be reasonably challenging for the drivers. This is where most of their left side tyre heat will come, and I suspect that if they're not careful through here in the opening laps, that their front tyres are going to be in some bad shape. And of course in the race there'll be a little bit of draft, so going through that corner, so that will not in any way help their tyres. There's so many corners like that here that I really would not like to be an FX right there just now. And Canada say, I have one gear, go epic winning. So that's a message to you all. Canada believe that from the back of the grid they're going to win this race. We shall see.
Off onto the oval for the first time, and Tomek Nojek in the Poland car is already on the gas at the earliest possible opportunity, waiting for the green flag to fly from race administration. Great Britain, both cars are staying fairly close to Nojek on the start, and the green flag is out, and away we go. And already the bump drafting starting between the two Great Britain cars to close the gap to the Polish car here at the start, and the field strung out fairly much behind. Of course, last place not even through the final oval turn yet. So Joe Holmes, Isaac Price tailing Nojek as they head towards turn number 2, the first real turn on the track of the Noble turn. Of course, all three of these top 3 cars FXOs. And it looks like we'll be clean into turn 1. Holmes taking a look, but nothing doing on Nojek. And everyone top 10 already clean through the first set of corners here. No one else behind in any sort of strife as yet. So a clean start here.
Curious start, very curious start, because so many cars seem to be left behind off that start, so they weren't ready to go, and or somebody somewhere was not going. So it's a disaster for those at the back, and it's very, very useful for those at the front, or certainly the 4-car mini breakaway that we've got from Poland. And the 2 Great Britons, a Spanish car has gone with them in Blasco, and a Lithuanian car actually, so it's a 5-car breakaway at the front as Joe Holmes is lining up the back of Poland.
Yeah, I think that start was a big surprise for everyone, how early the Polish car went. Most cars wasn't even exiting the last turn or entering the last turn when he already floored it, which left huge gaps between the cars.
Nojek getting this straight to the wall. Holmes giving him a bit of a bump, and a bit of exchange of horns there on the run through Kyoto Oval turn 3, and they'll be on to the pit straightaway for the first time. First lap will be complete.
Interesting to see here that Great Britain's driver Joe Holmes decides to bump draft with the Polish driver instead of his mate from the same country to try and maximize points for Great Britain.
I'm not surprised by that. Anyway, I don't really think that... I'm not convinced we'll be seeing Joe Holmes making any kind of attempt to win this race, but I'll be surprised. I can be surprised, but we'll see.
Of course, the starting order for race 2, after this will be the finishing order of this race. Race 3, there can be a reverse anywhere between 2 and 12. So a partial grid reverse, but it can be anywhere between 2 and 12, number to be drawn at random.
I'm not terribly sure what to make of somebody who does an LFS World PB on that one of a race.
Offline practice. Offline practice. He does a Simon.
Yeah, well, but yeah, we'll politically correct to call it offline practice. Yes, okay. As Holmes gets very, very close to the back of the Poland car.
Now I wonder if Joe's going to be just trying to see if he can make the Poland team wear their tires out earlier.
And it looks like the Lithuanian car has got past the Spanish car for fourth.
Yeah, Runas, very well spotted. Team doing a good job, but over a second slower than the two at the front at the moment. Now, those two at the front, where they're bomb drafting, getting away from the rest of the field.
Top half of the field dominated by FXOs. You have to go back to 14th, 15th to find the first XRT in the field. There's only about two, or I only count 3 XRTs in the entire field, the rest, the FXO.
It's interesting, well, I suppose a bit, Timu, you can sort of ascertain this, but the way that different cars have gone with different various levels of camber. Crikey, my brain is not working today. I mean the same thing. Various camber differences. That's a better way of putting it. If you look, for example, of Lithuania's setup, they appears to be putting far more heat in the right side tyre wall than any other FXO setup that I can see on the grid at the moment. Especially that compared to the Spanish car behind him, which has his tyre heat all across the whole of the tyre and not in the sidewalls. It's interesting to see the difference of cambers there.
Bit of battle back in the 7th, 8th position area between the Serbian car of Belanzada and the other Polish car of Maciej Deskowicz. Big battle coming through the final section of significant turns on the course.
Yeah, going back to the camber that Chris was talking about, and it's a bit of mixture from driving style and setup. And talking about driving style, I mean with steering input, and a lot of drivers normally use the handbrake to get the ass to rotate in this car in slow turns, and more people, and everyone uses different wheel turn degree. So if you use a lot of wheel turn, you automatically gonna heat the outside of the tire and load the outside of the tire more than the inside, which means you're gonna have the tire heating more even across the tire surface.
Oh, what a problem in the battle for 15th, 16th. The Belgian car tries to go to the inside of the Lithuanian car into turn number 2, makes contact, but of course puts a little bit of power on and corrects that slide. So now he'll drop back. That'll now converting this into a battle for 16th, 17th, and 18th place between the Belgian car, the Latvian car, and the Turkish car. So a bit of scrapping going on here in the back part of the field. And now we have Dolda in the Turkish car making move up to the inside of the Latvian car, but the Latvian car has fallen off. So Kampars goes off on the run down to the long sweeping right-hander. The Turkish team unable to make any sort of advance on that position though. So some close action. The Turkish driver puts a couple wheels off, but of course, you know, these cars, being more or less road cars, have the advantage of having a little bit of extra ability to handle when you're putting a few wheels or all the wheels off on the grass. As Dolda will take the position from Kampars.
And yeah, looking at the Belgian car, it seems like the Belgian car driver D Pure Pie, whatever, has got lower wishbone damage, which means automatically the camber is gonna change to more positive camber. So we're probably gonna see that front right tire start to heat up really, really bad soon.
Through the oval section, Campar's closing in, and the traffic is a little bit of a bump. We'll try to go around the outside, but it looks like he may have outbraked himself. And a battle for 21st and 22nd. The turn one between the Spanish and Latvian cars down in this part of the field. It's having a bit of a bump and bang, good old touring car style scrap here. That is Linda and Kaplavka. Kaplavka taking all the way over the curb. Oh, Garcia for the Spanish car, or Gracia, excuse me, takes a move. And he'll get around from 21st. So Linda takes a look to the inside. He'll keep tight. Gracia runs a little wide in the sweeping right-hander, but Linda having it tucked tightly to the right-hand side, unable to get a good acceleration to get a run out of that. So that battle fizzling out a little bit.
Yep, it's 7 laps in and the FXOs are starting to nom their front tyres at the moment. They're just sort of heating up rather nicely on the rather a lot actually, looking back through the cars at the moment. They're are they going to continue to get hot? I do wonder before the end of this race, and will that start to pose a problem for some of these FXO drivers? But where's the first XRT? It's 14th, so it's not really going to be able to make up as it goes down the inside. Team Finland actually swapping positions there, so maybe the XRT is starting to come good, but it's not going to be good enough to get a major result, I don't think, here with just 10 to go.
Yeah, the two finish entries here in 13th, 14th, and Lithuania in 15th as they hit 3 wide through the long right-hander. Bit of contact through there as Matthias closes in a little bit on his line through the turn. So the Lithuanian driver now splits the two Finns. That's Rises in the Lithuanian car. A yellowish greenish machine. They both head all the way over the curb. Now that curve there a little bit does have a little bit of a buggy quality about it.
And there's a fight for 25th here between the Canadians. Looks like both of them are having front tires that are burning completely red.
A very glorious return to live for speed for Kent O'Keefe, you must say. As we actually might have a battle for the lead here, depending on whether Joe Holmes is actually going to make any kind of effort on his 380 colleague. Looks like he might be running up into one at the moment.
You know, that's actually, back to the point that Timu made earlier. It's like, why is he not helping his British teammate now? Yeah, technically they're same country, but because Nojek and Holmes are both in my 3ID, that, do you think that Holmes will help his 3ID teammate more than his fellow countryman?
Well, if he decides to go for the first option, I'd suggest he changes his nationality. These guys are driving for their nation, to maximize the points for their country. If you have some teammate in front of you, okay, no big deal about that, but you don't make it easy for him just because of that. You go to try and maximize the points for your country. Anything else is just not good, in my opinion.
Just pushing 2 Team Canada cars, yep, O'Keefe heading for the pit. Well, yeah, definitely. Having to pit with those tyres, that's they're a little bit dead. Oh, they're both coming in. Oh no, they're gonna hit on the pit entry. What are they doing? Wow, maybe they're gonna retire. In fact, I think that's potentially what they're going to do here. This setup has not worked for Team Canada, clearly.
They'll both follow a lap down through the during their pit stops, more than likely. But on the bright side, for the moment in time, this now makes Germany's Thilo Falkenberg not last. As Thilo blows past them, they trundle at a very slow 8, yes, trundle through at 80 kilometers an hour. Meanwhile, leader's still a bit of nip and tuck here as they come onto the main straight to complete the 8th racing lap.
This is not the kind of O'Keefe that I remember from I've seen in Pro Series. This is a very strange kind of O'Keefe at the moment.
I think we could call it lack of preparation. Ken as a driver is normally he is fast when it comes to driving, but if you don't put any time into making a proper setup that works, it doesn't matter how fast you are. It doesn't matter if you're Gregor Hutto or Hugo Luis. It looks like the battle for 15th is starting to heat up here, with the Belgian car and the Turkish car.
Interesting.
Yeah, Samson Joransu from Finland retiring.
It's a little bump there from Holmes on the back of the Poland car.
Well, that's that was a big bump.
Still bumping. But I was going to say, interestingly enough, Joe's tyres are actually in far better condition than Nojek's in the Poland FXO.
There's a little bit of use of the horn. Yeah, do you think that maybe part of Holmes' strategy is to bumping Nojek to try and wear his tires more? Because, make him have to go deeper into these turns here.
I don't know. I'm not really sure that would be what you'd be thinking right now. I think it's sometimes hard to.
Oh, he goes for the pass! He goes for the pass!
Here he goes to the inside through turn number 2. He'll be side by side. He'll have the inside for turn 3.
Ooh,
Very
contact.
side-by-side duel, yes, side door banging. Drag race up to turn number 4. And of course, Nojek will have the inside line. And looks like he'll stay ahead unless Holmes can try a bit of a cutback.
He makes
but I
the
think
switch
he
back?
won't get. Yeah, no, he didn't have enough on it. Of course, that could, you know, serve as kind of a slight bit of a mental game here. Nojek taking a defensive line. Lights him up a little bit. Holmes gets a switchback. They'll be side by side, but Nojek will have the optimum line for this turn. He'll be ahead through it. So Holmes giving a bit of hurry up to Nojek here now.
Yeah, you know what I think? I think Joe is just waiting for the race to come closer to the end. When there's 1 or 2 laps to go, he's gonna try and go for the win. I really can't see him trying to stay behind for the whole race. There's no point in that. Of course he wants to win, so I think it's just showing Nojek that he's there, I'm there, and I'm faster than you if I want to. So, you know, I'm just gonna wait until it gets closer to the end of the race, and then I'm gonna go for it. So be ready.
Interesting enough, Nojek's front tires are now a little bit better than Joe Holmes in condition after Joe's little attempt to switch back. So maybe this is going to work out better for Nojek than Holmes, but we'll just wait and see. Honky honk 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 between the two drivers.
Between the races, I'm going to go down to the paddock and yank the fuse out of the horn.
Honk honk, touch touch. Oh,
And we have
arrows?
Belgium and Turkey side by side again in T1. Belgium got the upper hand now for turn 3 though.
Both with nice tires.
Yeah, that's the Belgian car I was talking about that had a lower wishbone damage, so you can see that it's actually harder on the outside than anywhere else on the tire.
Side by side late in the turn, Holmes makes a move around the outside. Of course, the longer way around, nothing of it. Just harrowing, just giving a tough time to Nojek here. But I don't think Nojek's someone you can easily get a mistake out of in this sort of situation.
No, it's gonna come down to Joe having to go pretty hard on his teammate for the pass, because he's not gonna give it up, and he's probably not gonna make a bigger mistake.
Ooh, both of them getting a little swirly on the binders into turn 2 here. But of course holding the current race order. Top 5 currently: Poland, Great Britain, Joe Holmes, Great Britain, Isaac Price, Lithuania, Modestas Runas, and Ruben Blasco 5th for Spain. Holmes goes to the inside in turn number 4. But Nojek gets the power down, takes a little bit of advantage of momentum around the outside line. And side by side, here into the final section of turns on the track. Holmes gets a bit of a nose ahead on the outside. Nojek, a bit of a slide on there. he'll stay ahead, but Holmes with a bit of touch there on the quarter panel, a bit of quarter panel contact. And Neujek still staying ahead, and Holmes bats the wall on the exit onto the oval. And has lost the draft, and Jarl Tyen has retired from the race. So that whole sequence just there has cost Holmes the draft. And during a battle, there was a battle for 10th. It's now down to a little bit of a sidewaysness. Turkey and Bulgaria now in a battle that is Trafecki and Ivanov.
And it's going to be interesting to see how fast and if Joe can get back right on the bumper of the Polish car. So he's going to have to push a bit harder now that he dropped back.
And of course, this can give Neujek a good chance to rest his tires. Still a fairly close battle for 10th between now Italy and Turkey. Now this is actually a bit of a 4-car scrap, and this just got some breaking news in. The official MOE results for the 2010-2011 season are now published. So I don't know who's been looking for that. That's now out, but we continue to watch this fairly nice scrap. The Bulgarian car goes to the inside of the Turkish car. Turkish car squeeze him down to the apron. They touch it. There's a crash. And oh, good save from Turkey, but that roasts their right-hand side tires. Lithuanian car in 4th, catching up the 3rd place British car. Close battle for 11th and 12th that you'll be watching between Ivanov and Risis. As Neujek will come across the line about now to start the second last lap.
And I think the Lithuanian car in 4th is in the draft of Isaac Price at the moment.
Yeah.
So we'll see if there's gonna be a side-by-side action for T1. Yeah, he's definitely in now.
Oh yeah, definitely. He'll have an oval 1. He'll hang out on the inside of Isaac. All the way down. Oh, that's a little bit of a contact there. Isaac will hold 3rd place just for now.
Vires looks way better than anyone else up front.
Will be coming to start the final lap here. It looks like, unless something drastic happens, Neujek will take the win in the First Nations World League race. But close battle for third here in the waning stages of the race. Runas now goes to the inside of Isaac, to the double left-hander, but Isaac gets a switchback, but can't make it successful, and looks like Runas will take third place here with just over a lap to go.
Yeah, I think Isaac played it safe there, gave him space, and made him take the inside line entering the last turn out on back on the oval, which means he got a better run and got right back in the draft now, and I think he planned everything for that, and let's see how he does now. Over the start finish, he goes for the inside line. They get really close to the wall, almost touching the wall. Runas, he drops back into Isaac's draft again, and see if Isaac defends. Yeah, he goes for the defensive move. He doesn't give him any space, but he still squeezes inside. And he's inside. Let's see if he can keep it. Oh, side by side, going into turn 2. They have a slight contact, but Isaac, I think he still has it on the outside. Yeah, Isaac still has position on the outside.
The Spanish car in 5th place is catching them as well.
Yeah, all this plays straight into the hands of the Spanish car. Closes the gap to these guys. But only with half a lap to go, I don't think he's gonna be fighting for third. I think it's gonna be between these two cars, Great Britain and Lithuania. Entering the last section of corners here, Isaac has a small gap. Unless something happens to Isaac now, I don't think. No, Lithuania. Runas drops off. That gives the Spanish car a slight... No, he misses the turn.
Yep, coming onto the main... Oh, what happened? Neujek slowed down. Neujek and Holmes have had a slowdown. What is going on here between these two cars up here?
I don't know. And Isaac tried straight into them. I don't know what is going on.
And Runas is into the lead. Runas is into the lead. What has happened here?
They don't have any fuel. They don't have any fuel.
They run out of fuel. Lithuania takes the upset victory after the
and Spanish gets the second and Italian third.
So 3 different nations taking second place, so Neujek running out of fuel.
And yeah, that made Joe Holmes, his team, my 380 teammate, pushing him. And Isaac, I don't know what Isaac Price was doing there, because he drove straight into the rear of Joe Holmes' car.
Maybe he had no idea. Maybe he was so focused on his battle that he didn't realize in time that they were slow.
Maybe that. I didn't see the Lithuanian car in the draft of Isaac Price, though. I don't see what was making him so stressed up. I think he just got surprised by the fact that the 2 cars in front of him was going so much slower. Because he didn't seem to make any action of avoidance or anything, he just drove straight into him.
Yep. So, yeah, that's... So that cost... Now this also creates an interesting situation, because originally Great Britain would have had the points lead after this race. Now that gets both Polish cars ahead of Great Britain. So you could say that Holmes, in his desire to help his teammate over his fellow countryman, that could have cost their country here. At least still early in the season, of course. But that's an interesting tactic.
Looking at the replay, I think Isaac was supposed to bump Joe, but
he didn't see Tomek right ahead of Joe.
Yep.
So maybe Isaac thought.
Yeah, that could be
Joe
one
ran out of
explanation.
fuel.
Yes.
So
Yeah, maybe he thought his Great Britain mate was out of fuel as well, and
yeah. So I think Isaac wanted to help Joe, but didn't see Tomek right ahead of him.
Yep. So, final car finishes. That'll be Thilo Falkenberg finishing at the very tail end of the lead lap. He was just left before the fuel ran out. So, provisional results of the first race of the Nations World League. Modestas Runas taking the win in fantastic fashion. Ruben Blasco second. Cravato for Italy third. Poland fourth and fifth. Daskwitz and Nojek respectively. Great Britain sixth. Joe Holmes. Serbia's Belanzata in seventh. Great Britain's Isaac Price eighth. Jason for Serbia in ninth. Risis for Lithuania 10th. 11th. Bulgaria's Ivanov. Magano representing Italy in 12th. Turkey's Trefecki in 13th. Dominique Piers, Belgian car, 14th. 15th. Delda from Turkey. Latvia in 16th. USA's Ray Kings in 17th. Latvia's Linda in 18th. Slovakia's Kaplavka in 19th. 20th. Spain's Gracia. 21st. Matt Kings for the United States of America. Canada's Alexic 22nd, and 23rd, Theo Falkenberg, and those are your finishers of race 1.
well, that was an interesting end of the race, and I got confirmed from Isaac Price himself that he thought Joe Holmes was out of fuel and was decided to try and give him a push without noticing he had another car in front of him. Wow.
So there'll be a 5 to 10 minute break before race 2 of the day here.
Okay, welcome back to Nations World League here, round 1. We're gonna go to the second race of today. Pretty soon, starting to grid up here. We had a rather interesting ending to the first race with the leader, Nojek, running out of fuel in the last turn, and his 3ID teammate behind him started to push him to get him to the finish, which ended up in a crash for the top 3 and got the Lithuanian car as a winner. So he's gonna start on pole now, and it's gonna be quite interesting to see the faster guys, if I may say so, Nojek and Isaac and Joe, to make positions here at the start and the starting laps. And we have some technical issues with Chris Ford and Jonathan Palmer here. So for this race, we're gonna have Thilo Falkenberg commentating.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Thilo. And Thilo actually took part in the first race here, but he wasn't really, I guess you weren't really happy with your setup, so you decided to not go on to do the second and third race here.
Yeah, I struggled to find the right setup. Right before the first race, I accidentally chose the wrong one, so one new mistake one could make. Yeah, so I decided, because I won't score any points for Germany, it doesn't really matter that I'm racing, and now I'm commentating.
Well, commentating is almost as fun as racing, so...
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's actually not.
Well, always depends on the race. And
yeah, I think we're up around interesting race here.
Yeah, listening to the first one in the background, it sounds good. I mean, I had most of the time an empty track in front of me and an empty track behind me. That was not the thing I wanted to do, but well.
Yeah, and you didn't have any of your German teammates here to help you try and score points, so that's a shame.
Yeah, Team Germany signed up with Christian Kistner and Sascha Riegler, as well as Sven Plutter. And all 3 of them are going to parties tonight, and therefore were not available. And well, then it was me all alone, and it was a shame that I only could fight with Team India, but you really cannot choose how talented you are.
And yeah, talking about India there, that's a rather interesting entry. There isn't really that many Indian drivers around that I've seen, so I was quite surprised by even seeing them attending this Nation World League.
Yeah, it was about 2 or 3 hours before the race when India posted their sign up, and after discussion among the admins, Team Vires decided that they would give them the entry, although there is only one racer currently known driving for India. I mean, it's cool to see such countries attempting to race here, because this Nations World League is supposed to be one international league and with worldwide competitors. And from that point, it is quite cool, but well, India was 2 seconds slower than me, and I was 2 seconds slower than the rest of the world, so I don't know where the sense was behind that.
Well, he probably does this for fun, which is the main idea, so...
Yeah, true.
But we're happy to have him here. Yes, as everyone is starting to get ready up here for the start of the second race. I guess we're gonna see a rolling start here again.
From what I've read in the driver's briefing, yeah.
So we're gonna see. Let's see if Runas makes a good start as Aimel did last time by going really early and just surprising everyone by that, or if he decides to go slow all the way to the start finish and wait for the green flag to fly.
Yeah, it was like everyone was, at least the front guys were braking for turn 1, and I was still cruising around the last chicane. It was pretty strange for me that the green flag was out.
Yeah, myself, I haven't checked too much into the rules and everything about this. I personally thought they would have to wait for the green flag to fly before they could decide the pace, go back to race pace, so to speak. But obviously not. So it's a huge favor for the top guys that can be already on the straight when the other guys are still braking for the last turn.
Well, as from the rules, the race itself starts behind the safety car officially. So when they get around the first lap, it is officially a safety car restart. So that's the reason why, yeah, this start favors the top teams.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna see everyone more ready this time for the start and not leave any gaps at all.
Yeah. So I'm going now shortly through the grids when now we have got the screen. On pole position there's Runas. On second Blasco for Spain. Third is Cravato. Cravato for Italy. Then we've got the Polish pair, Deszkiewicz and Nocic. Then we've got the British car of Holmes, followed by Belejado from Serbia, Isaac Price, Great Britain, and Yasin, Serbia. Then the second Lithuania car from Rajcic, Bulgaria with Ivanov. The second Italy car with Mangana. Then the first Turkish car with Tufeci. Belgium with Pier. Turkey with Dolder. Then we have Latvia with Kambash. USA first car with Ray Kingsbury, followed by the second Latvian car with Linde. Then in 19th we have got Slovakia with Kaplavka. Then the second Spanish car with Garcia, Matt Kingsbury for USA in 21st. The first Canada car with Alexki. Yeah. Then Matthias for Finland, followed by Norway's Jarl Tyne. And that are our 24 competitors for the second race.
And yeah, as we enter the last turns here, the safety car is in this lap, so we're gonna see green flag pretty soon, or at least leader going back to race speed. And looks like right away that Lithuania and Spain get a huge gap back to third. Italy in third.
Yeah, already starting the bunt draft. Really having a good go compared to the other cars behind them. A huge gap between 5th place and 6th place.
Yeah, we have both the Polish cars there in 5th and 6th, no, 4th and 5th. Also a huge gap back to Joe Holmes.
Yeah,
Seems to
I
have
mean, a
lost
Boeing could
tons of
land
time.
in this gap. Turn 1 all clean.
Nojek going for the pass on his fellow countryman there for 4th.
Pretty clean turn 1 so far. Around P16 there's a big pilot group. A bit of color share up there.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm surprised that once again people forgot to not leave any gap. They just left huge gaps, which is it's not good. I mean, you have to be really close to someone when you know that they go early.
On the one hand, you really like to have gaps, but when you really have that kind of But if it makes such a really big disadvantage, it's bad. Now Isaac Price alongside Belenjada, not passing him.
No, he's playing it smart. He's waiting for the oval. He knows he guts the draft, and he's gonna play this on a more tactical level. He's gonna bump draft him all around the oval, both of the ovals, I think, and then he's gonna make the pass in T1, where he know he can't repass in any draft or anything.
Lots of side-by-side action currently. Ted not yet just passed the Italian car. And again, Canada's chatting, like in race 1. Now Jets now already starts to build up the gap to Italy and close up the gap to Spain. And Spain in a big battle with Lithuania for the first position, but they will surely be caught up by Poland at the end of this lap. And there we go. Through the dot left into the right left chicane onto the oval. And Nodjet had a slightly better line through the chicane, but decides to bump draft with Blasco. Honking there. Now
he decides to
right.
bump draft with Blasco around the outside of Runas there. Let's see, Runas can probably get back in the draft of Nojek. Goes to the inside.
Yep, Runas now tries to keep in the slipstream of Nojek. And
Nojek takes the lead on the inside.
Yes, pretty clean move. And I guess he now tries to pull away. Blasco don't want to let him pull away though. Bumper to bumper racing. And Blasco caught a good line now through this long right-hander, but Nodjet now already has pulled away quite a bit. And now Runas and Blasco team up to do the bump draft round the oval.
Yeah, and they will most likely catch up with Nojek up front. See what line he decides to take, if he goes for a defensive line or just give them space and fall back into the draft.
With bump drafting being so effective, they even can pass around the outside, it seems.
Yes, and that's just what happened right here. Spain up through into the lead. And Nojek stays on the inside. Surely they can make
Three
this
wide.
3 wide. Oh, there's contact.
And Blasco got pushed into the gravel, but he was lucky. He simply got straight through the gravel tab. But now fell back from second to third. Behind them there are Italy and Great Britain fighting their battle.
And Joe goes for the dive bomb. And I think he has the position, yeah.
That was such a stone cold move. Let's see if he teams up with Blasco, who I guess he will be catching on the oval. If not for this lap, for next lap. And again, pretty much honking here. Quickly watching back to the battle of position 15 with Ray Kingsbury for the USA fighting with Scandinavian, Finland and Norway. And Kingsbury not getting away from Finland, who now caught up in the slipstream, going to the inside on the oval in the XRT, but not making it, not making an overlap. And now Kingsbury broke away a bit, but he had a terrible entry into the first turn, and Finland is now right at his bumper. And now through turn 3, they go through Finland, passing USA, and now being 15th. Now Norway is going to do the pass on USA. Diving now, no! Contact with USA, Yaltayan pushes USA wide, now on the side of USA, but can't make the move stick. Through the chicane onto the oval. Slight contact with the wall from Norway, but it doesn't seem here that anyone wants to team up bump drafting with anyone else. Too wide through the oval. Yaltine tries it on the outside, but he can't make it, and now Spain comes from inside. Garcia tries it, can't make it. Tyner tries it again around the inside of USA, but still can't get the overlap. Great mid-pack racing here.
Yeah, as we were watching the battle further back in the field, it looks like Joe Holmes, Great Britain, has made a maid on Spain, and he's up to third. He's gonna try and chase down Runas of Lithuania. And we also have Isaac Price chasing he's almost making contact with the other Polish driver, Daskevich. Let's see if he can get into the slipstream here.
Yeah, he definitely has slipstream, but
I
well,
think he's too far away. I think he's too far away. Unless Daskevich makes a lift, but I can't see that happening.
meanwhile we had Arax off. He lost a couple of positions. He was in the battle with Ray Kingsbury and Garcia with USA and Spain, and now fell back to 20th. Not yet, doesn't get away from Runas, it seems. There are about a second between them, but he can't get further away. Meanwhile, Yaltine just spectated.
Yeah, and I think we have the Norwegian driver Jarl in here. Jarl, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
What was going on with you there? We see that you retired from the race. What happened?
My game decided to freeze, and I lost control without knowing. And I think I nearly took someone out. And I came back looking at my car, like, sideways in the grass, so I hope I didn't hit anyone.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. We missed that, but not much you can do with technical problems like that. Are you gonna stick around for the third race, or are you gonna give up for this evening?
I think I'm gonna give up, because the FXO is so much quicker than the XRT. It's unbelievable.
I'm sorry for not being updated on the rules here as well, but what positions do they change for the reverse grid in the last race?
I don't think they changed at all.
Well, it's similar to ITCC. Between positions 2 and 12, there is a dice deciding what positions are going to be changed. So a random decision between those positions. That actually could mean that if the top 12 positions are going to be reversed, that Turkey starts from first position. They are currently in 12th, pretty uncontested. Isaac Price is now pretty close to Dashkovich. But again, it is not enough to get into the slipstream on the oval. Well, unlike at the Kyoto 250, where the XRT's having different speeds around this course, the slipstream is much shorter in this configuration because of the speeds, obviously. But still, these two oval bands really make up a huge full throttle period here. Holmes now pretty close to Runas, into the right, very long right-hander.
Yeah, Joe is right on his bumper there. I think he's gonna be able to get the draft for the oval and bump draft him around the track to try and close the gap down to the leader.
Yeah, that would be the tactical move here.
And lost a bit of time there at the exit though. I don't think Runas goes on the brakes to wait up for Joe.
Yeah.
So he knows that they're
wants
gonna
to
go
team
faster.
up.
Yeah, they team up and they both know that they're gonna go faster. Especially on the oval. It'll be interesting to see though if Runas decides to give Joe the position.
Oh! There's been... What was that? Suddenly Nugget braked on the start-finish straight.
Yeah, he's waiting up for Joe, probably.
Joe on inside.
Yeah, Joe going for the move in turn 1. Runas stays on the outside. Joe won't be able to make the move. No, Runas is able to defend his position on the outside.
Yeah, Runas had the larger momentum there. Okay, we are hearing down from the pit line that Nugget just tried to talk with someone and accidentally hit the handbrake button.
And Joe is on the grass.
Holmes using the whole width of this facility, not only of the racetrack, not only of the black stuff, but also of the green stuff there. Big moment there. Can easily, well, lose the car there and hit the wall. Although, as Jonathan Palmer stated in race 1, it is easier with those cars to keep away from the wall than with the big cars like the GTRs, because they have slicks, and these cars have normal road tires, and the bigger cars also have more horsepower, which also makes it harder to get away from the wall. 11 laps into the in the books, but still no winner decided. With Holmes now trying to go side by side with Runas, but he was definitely too far away there. But he's now again in striking distance. That's for sure.
Looking at Joe compared to the two guys up front, he's taking a more tighter line in every corner.
And again, there's the honking. To be honest, I don't hear any system out of it. I mean, they could communicate like with well, what is it called? Damn! Anyways, Holmes too far away to do a move here.
And yeah, looking at the damage on the Lithuanian car, he has seemed to have some lower wishbone damage. It doesn't seem to affect his tires so much. Not more than usual. But surely he needs to have less grip on left turns with that camber change.
Yeah, though this damage is really gentle, really just a nick of it.
Yeah, but the problem is when it's a lower wishbone that it's really, I don't know about these cars, I don't drive these cars so much myself, but especially in GTRs you can feel it right away, even if there's just a pixel of lower wishbone damage. It affects the driving and handling of the car. As Joe Holmes is right on the bumper, he's bump drafting Runas, entering the last turns here. Let's see if he tries to go for the pass on the outside. And yeah, he does try and go for the pass. But Runas
That's a
with
very
the shorter way around the turn, he manages to keep it in second. But Joe is really close now. He's definitely in the draft now. So we're gonna see these two guys bump drafting all the way on around the ovals, trying to catch up with Nodjak in the lead.
They seriously will. At least if they are halfway decently intelligent.
And I think we're gonna see a move here for second, approaching T1. Runas goes for the defensive line. A little bit weaving there, but Joe makes a move for the inside.
Yeah, but the cutback was not really efficient there. This first turn has a lot to do with momentum, and it's also a turn where you can pass someone on the outside because it really allows you, with the higher momentum, to get around. Unlike what we've seen in this double left at the end, where Holmes tried to go around the outside, there is the weight disadvantage just too big to make a successful pass there.
Yeah, and looking a few positions down here, we have Isaac Price right on the bumper of the second Polish driver, Daskevich, who was having some adventures out on the grass there. See if these guys can make it by bump drafting around the Italian car in front of them in fifth.
Joe and Runas now again bumper to bumper around the oval.
The thing is, with these two guys fighting for this position side by side all around the track, it just plays straight into the hands of the leader Nojek there. Because they're gonna slow each other down. Even if they bump draft around the track, they're gonna lose time, even by doing that.
Yeah, especially because they are really fighting for the position around the infield of the track, and on the oval they are just...
Let's see if Joe can keep this here. He's on the inside. Runa stays on the outside. Once again, he's so fast on the outside line, and Joe makes a small squeeze. Let's see if Runas can make a switchback on it. No, he can't. Joe gets the position there, and he's gonna start hunting down the leader Nojek now.
And well, I feel that they are now fighting for the position rather than for the win. That they already gave away the win because they didn't cooperate on the oval, and they didn't cooperate the times before.
Yeah, perfectly right. And with only 1.5 lap to go, I really can't see Joe closing in on the gap to the leader, unless something happens like in the last race.
That or
for you who missed that, Nojek, the leader, ran out of fuel in the last turn, so his teammate decided to push him to the finish, but that caused a big accident for the top 3 guys.
Yeah, I was right behind that in the car.
Yeah, so Lithuania and Runas was the guy who got the win.
Yeah.
Sorry for my earliest mistake, there is 2 laps to go at the line now, not 1.5 like I said earlier, so 2 laps to go. And the top 3 guys are pretty far away from everyone else, but I don't think we're gonna see any position changes on the top 4. There is a small fight, well, the gaps aren't too big between 5th, 6th and 7th. That's Italy, Poland and Great Britain.
I really must say that it's cool to see an Italian driver that far up the grid, because I haven't seen that many Italians around LFS in the recent weeks and months.
Yeah, Italian drivers definitely doing a good job there by being in 5th at the moment. Not too far from 4th either, so that's still a possibility.
Yeah, Price is now right behind Dashkovic. And again a chat. Well, the Italian car blocking the Polish car through the double left, and now helping Isaac Price to get right behind the Polish car.
Yes, and Isaac Price is definitely in his draft now, so they're gonna bump draft their way up and maybe pass the Italian car, yeah?
Well, if they bump drafted, it looked a bit like Poland would do a defensive move, but now they really bump drafting their way.
Yeah, let's see what the Italian driver does here.
Don't make it sandwich, that is pretty unstable.
And Isaac Price goes for the move and goes behind the Italian car.
He now teams up. No, he doesn't team up with Italy.
No, he goes for the inside line. Let's see if he can keep it. It looks like he's gonna run a bit wide. Oh no, Italian. Side by side into turn 2, there's some slight contact, and Isaac Price has to yield for the position there.
Well, that could have been a mistake by Isaac to not go all the way through the oval as bump driving.
Yeah, and that made his front right tires to heat up like there for in T1 there. So we're probably gonna see him having to go a bit slower in the last section of turns. See if Isaac goes for he shows he wants to have the inside, and he gets the inside, and the Italian car goes on the grass, and he loses 3 positions right there.
He lost the calm curb and couldn't do anything. He was just a passenger going into the grass, now hitting the wall.
Oh, exiting the last oval turn here.
So
Not yet from Poland.
Poland comes in for the win. Now, home second for Britain, Lithuania third, Spain fourth. Sorry, fifth the second car of Great Britain, sixth the second Polish car, seventh Serbia, eighth Italy, ninth Lithuania, 10th Bulgaria, 11th Serbia, 12th is Belgium, 13th and 14th are the 2 Turkish cars, 15th Finland, then we've got USA on 16th, Slovakia on 17th, Latvia 18th, Spain the second car on 19th.
And we have the second Italian car and second Latvian car coming in here last turn, exiting the oval. And we're gonna talk to the officials here, and we're gonna hear in a bit, because the third and last race is gonna be a reverse grid, but the number is randomly chosen by a dice. So it's gonna be interesting to see which one of the top 12 guys, which one of the top 12 guys ends up on pole.
Yeah, that's really going to be interesting. So race control, please roll the dice. We want to know it.
Yes, and we actually have a official here in our booth here, I think.
Me?
Yeah, there we go. We have one of the officials here in the commentary booth with us.
Hello.
Miro, what is the number for the last race, for the reverse grid?
Oh my, I'm not really sure. I'll have to ask Christy. So if you give me a minute or two.
Yeah, sure, go ahead and ask
Okay.
your fellow organizers there.
Okay, so the number is 8.
So we're actually gonna have an Italian guy, the driver who was in 5th until the penultimate lap, Cravoto. He's gonna start on pole for the Italian team, and we're gonna have Serbia and the second Polish driver from Daskovic on 3rd.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I have to say the Italian driver, he was doing a really good job there until the penultimate lap. So it's probably gonna be quite hard for the top guys to try and chase him down, I think, especially at the start with all the traffic and everything that's gonna play a role.
Well, the Italian guy really has to get the jump at the start, really has to get away from the rest of the pack. because the real fast guys, Holmes and Nodgett, they are in 7th and 8th, and they have to work their way through the other guys. And I believe the third race will really be an anything goes race, because anyone within the top 8 can win it.
I think everyone has the chance to win, to be honest.
Yeah,
The race has been
correct.
so clean.
Yeah, well, we have the head admin here, Miro. I have to ask you, the starts for the races, they seem quite, how should I put it, unfair to the people further down in the field. What's the point of view from on the admin side on this? Sure, it's clean, but it's sort of boring as a spectator to see the big gaps that happen right at the start. You want to see some action going into turn one.
Yeah,
Those.
we didn't really think people would leave such huge gaps to each other, and I might think of doing a normal start for the race, as it leaves more, how should I say it, opportunities to everyone to get a good start and not to be held up by, let's say, 20 seconds because of some idiot in front of him. I was expecting more experienced drivers, so it's just the unexperienced drivers did this today, I think.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see how it's gonna be in the third start here. If people are starting to learn that the front drivers actually go really early, so let's see if the guys can keep up with the car in front and not leave big gaps.
From a driver's perspective, I really must say that all drivers here had made an incredible improvement compared to the tests earlier this day, where really the start was horrifying.
Yeah,
Everyone-
that's true. We did a few test races on test starts, and well, it didn't go as clean as it has done in the first 2 official races.
Yeah, I guess people take it more easy when there's points involved and everything, and you actually can get penalties for being over aggressive.
Anyway, I'm gonna go back to the admin booth, so I might be back later.
Interesting news from Turkey. They will most likely do a driver change because one of their drivers has to leave. And as per the rules, this is allowed as long as the driver, the new driver, is on the reserve list.
So while we wait for the third race to start here, do we actually have anyone who's keeping track of the points so far in these 2 races? Would be quite interesting to see at least the top 3 points in the nations at the moment going into the last race. Maybe we can have our TV director, Phil Diaz, counting the points, can we, Phil? He says yes, so we're gonna take a short break for a few minutes and calculate the points and see the current standings.
Actually, this race is pretty important for the league because, as from what I understood, all races are going to score in the regular FIA scheme and the new regular FIA scheme with 25 points for the first position, 18 for the second, and so on. As you know it from Formula 1 or any other FIA World Championship. And because there are 3 races here, you can score them like 3 times. So this season opener is also a very important race for the point standings. Well, maybe we can now take a look onto the schedule, what other races we do have in this series. And hopefully with a slightly better performance by Germany. We now welcome Isaac Price here in the commentary booth. Hello.
Hello.
How were the two races for you so far?
First race was sort of quite quiet. I started third, couldn't keep up with Joe and Imol, and then was trying my best to just sort of stay ahead of Runas, and I just about held him off. And then exiting the last corner, I saw Joe going slow. I didn't know whether he'd had an accident, because I saw that they were lapping somebody on the last lap, and I thought he might have had a crash or something with them, and that's why they were going slow. So I thought,
No.
Yeah,
I wasn't one lapped, and I didn't have to do anything with those being slow. They simply had not enough fuel.
Yeah, well, Joe had enough fuel, but Imol didn't have enough fuel, and he was helping him for some reason. But I couldn't see Imol, so I was going to push him. But I obviously, because Imol was in front of him, it ended up in me spinning, rather than me pushing Joe and helping him. So I lost a win, rather than what would have been a win, into being starting in 8th. So race 2 was sort of about coming back from that. Wasn't helped by Joe failing and making us be quite a long way behind the rest of the pack, and 5th was probably the best I could have got from that race, overtaking 2 cars in the last lap. It was fun to sort of work my way through.
Yeah, looking at the third race here, you're gonna start in let's see, stuff going on here. You should be starting in 3rd, if I'm correct.
Yeah, should be starting 3rd.
So this 3rd race should be...
What's Miro doing? I'm like 3rd. Oh, whatever. Doesn't matter. Right, I'm starting 4th.
Yeah, I'm starting 4th.
Wait, why am I starting... Right, okay, I see why I'm starting 4th. I think.
This is a pretty good chance for you to try and make a quick pass on the guys in front here and try and go for the lead and stretch it out, don't you think?
There's a chance. Reverse grid race is always good for chances and stuff like that, but it can go the other way as well. Blasco isn't an idiot, and nor is Runas, and nor is Joe or Imol. Well, so I could go backwards, I could go forwards. It'd be interesting to see. Normally I go forwards on starts, so we just see. But the gap in pace between us, well, between me and the 3 cars starting ahead of me, it's not that much. I couldn't really make a big... Like, I was faster than them by quite a bit in the first few laps, but once it gets to more about what situation the tyres are in, I didn't have any extra pace over them really. The only reason I got them at the end was because I ended up just catching them at the right point to be able to pass them on the last lap. I didn't have any extra pace on them through the middle of the race. So
yeah. And I know you as a teammate. I know that you're pretty hard on your tires when it comes to save the tires, so to speak. But you've been doing pretty good here so far. We've seen tires that have been burning.
Yeah, well, my tires are pretty hot, but I haven't fallen off the cliff, as it were. I haven't.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been able to just about stay on it. My last race, I was quite messy in the middle of the race, missed a couple of apexes, and missing an apex is what kills your front tires. So it's pretty hard, but I mean, I can look after my tyres in a given circumstance. But I usually use my fronts more, so like in a GTR I'm using R2 or something like that, that's good. But not in an FXO that's front wheel drive and uses its front tyres too much anyway. But I'm struggling quite a lot in the last sector as well. Yeah, go on.
Okay. Last quick question. How do you like the starting procedure?
I personally prefer the sort of the standard way, because at the moment the way it works is it actually spreads the field out, because the safety car line is in the middle of the last corner, which is only a corner. Yeah, it's not a question of when you react, it's naturally spreading the field out. So, but then as well, you've got to go early. There's no tactics to it. It's all about you've got to go as early as you can, because if you go late, they're going to be in your draft. So
yeah, we were talking about that with
in the mid-pack. It spreads things out quite badly, as we saw with with Joe failing and not catching up the back of the pack again.
Yeah, we were discussing that with the admin Miro there just a few minutes ago. And
it'd be better if the safety car line was on somewhere on the oval, maybe, but in terms of giving the people further back a chance to make up places at the start. But it depends what you want to do for the start, really.
Yeah, and we see drivers are starting to really up here, so maybe you should jump back in the car, Isaac, and good luck for the last race.
Thank you.
That was the British driver Isaac Price, who's gonna start in 4th for this race. We have Italian on pole, Serbia starting 2nd, Daskovic from Poland starting in 3rd, and Isaac 4th, and Blaska from Spain 5th, Runas Lithuania 6th, Holmes British 2nd car 7th, Nojek and Lithuania and Bulgaria is the top 10. It's going to be quite interesting to see how many positions these a bit faster running guys, how many positions they can make up at the start and the first lap.
Yeah. The start will be definitely interesting, though again spread out as we mentioned a few times during the last minutes. What also will be interesting is well, we've had the British cars and the Polish cars in both races so far in the top 8. So those two nations seem to be the dominant ones in this first round. And how many places they will, how many points they will make in this race?
We can't count out Lithuania. I think they have I think they have a win and a 3rd in the last race, so they're also up there on the points, fighting for the points lead. I think we had Runas winning the first race and getting 3rd in 2nd, I think. Oh
well. Garcia timed out on the starting grid.
That's a bad start for him. Let's see if he can make it back in time for after the pace lap here.
He really needs to hurry up, because if he doesn't connect to the server again within this lap, he will not only lose 1 lap, but I fear that he will be denied the start.
And we have the safety car doing 100 kph, 60 miles per hour for this race. I don't exactly know what the idea behind that is, but I think it's to get the cars more bunched up, being in the last sector at the start of the race.
Maybe also to give the second Spanish car a chance to get into the race. Oh, these 10 car length gaps. Always funny in sim racing to have these gaps, because no one really stays with him then.
Yeah, so we see drivers warming up their tires here.
Tire warming is pretty crucial because sometimes you simply spin out during trying to do so.
Oh, we actually have a car off. It's a Turkish car. An Italian car also being off there. I don't know exactly what happened. I just swept back and now there's a big bunch up here.
Yeah, and that was the curse of the commentator. Talking about spinning.
And there's people bunching up again, and people just going flat. Wow! Oh, there's people spinning. Oh god! There's a Turkish car and Canadian car spinning, and Slovakian car is facing the wrong way. Oh my god! This is now they have to abort. They have to abort this start. That is
race control just announced that they would do a second pace lap.
This is not going to be the start.
Red flag. We have got a red flag, which means we will do a full restart, I guess, because the race hasn't started yet.
Yeah, this is I can't really say that. I like the cars to be close to each other when it's getting ready to start, but we were only halfway into the lap. And I missed what happened there, but I guess there was some contact, and it's just a domino effect from that. People just starts to bunch up, and
I feel the problem was that the safety car was so much slower than on the first two starts. That is really the downside of making this slower.
Yeah, we see people, the drivers stopping before the start finish. I think we're gonna see completely new gridding here. But that's the problem as well, when you have people leaving huge gaps at the warm-up, and then they start going fast again to catch up with the field, and if you're especially like in a blind corner or something, the car behind can't see where the other cars are, so you just have to panic brake, and the car is so close behind and going so fast, it's just a chain reaction. That's why they should keep a decent gap and not make it big and then make it short and make it bigger again. It's just gonna end in tears like we saw this lap.
Well, that actually was also the problem with changing one small thing within the starting procedure, because such a small thing like the speed, I don't know how far it was reduced, but it was reduced to about 100 kilometers, and the cars were then so close to each other that the slightest mistake could really end in tears here. So this is the second try of race 3. Still 17 laps. Well, 16 laps of racing and 1 formation lap.
And I already see some cars hitting the walls while tire warming here.
I'm now curious what exactly is meant by stop leaving those gaps.
We have 2 cars here trying to battle for position. Why? What did I miss? Is it? We have the Canadian car driving into the back of their Latvian car. I don't know what happened between those guys, and he overtakes him. This is weird. I don't remember what position the Canadian car is supposed to be in. He's told by the administration to fall back and back of the queue. So already some drama.
Yeah. All the chaos we expected for the first race is now starts here with the formation lap of race 3. It reminds one of ITCC.
Okay guys, take it easy now, let's not do the same mistake here.
Now the safety car pulls away. Italy is now trying to go around the corners with a medium speed, and then he will definitely go
And I
full
think
throttle.
I think he's going for it now.
Oh,
yeah.
we've got cars spinning at the back. We had.
Italian car,
USA and Canada collided and took one of the admin cars with them. Green flag is out.
Yeah, green flag is out here, and we have a battle position for second. It's between Poland, Great Britain, and Spain, making it 3 wide, entering the first part of the oval. You see Serbian car on the inside and Great Britain on the outside. Let's see if the Polish car can... No, he decides to back off. So that puts Isaac Price up into second place already.
He was in fourth, so he already took 2 positions on the start. I feel that the Italian car just was much later on full throttle than we've seen it in the earlier races. And Isaac Price now directly behind the Italian car.
Yeah, he's gonna try and hunt him down right away and make quick work of him.
Quick work is important because now the tires are still
and we see
good.
Joe Holmes trying to make a pass on the
Three
dive
wide.
bomb. And he
Three
makes
wide
a stick.
action.
That was a bit of a dive bomb there from Joe, but he
Yeah.
got the position. That's what matters.
And now down to the
He's
inside
going.
of Blasco.
He's doing the same on Blasco. Let's see. Can this work? There's
Contact.
contact, and he's trying to go on the inside of the Serbian car as well. But the Serbian car manages to keep the position. That makes Runas the loser of that fight. He lost 2 or 3 positions only in 2 turns. But he's bump drafting with the Spanish car now. They will probably catch
Blasco,
up.
yeah. Finland retired.
Yeah, Finland's only car on the grid retires on the opening lap. And we have Joe Holmes starting to bump draft with Daskevich here. And he makes the move on the inside. And he has the Serbian car right behind him. Let's see if Serbian car can go for... No, he backs off. And Daskevich also backs off. This gives Joe the position. So Joe Holmes up to 3rd now, which means there's Italia, Great Britain, and Great Britain.
Rune is braked very, very late into turn 1, hit off Blasco.
We can see here Blasco fighting with the other Lithuanian car. Going a bit on the grass there.
It was quite an unfortunate start for Spain here in the second race. With the second car well timing out.
Isaac
Now
on the lead.
Blasco. Oh,
Yeah.
contact between Lithuania and Bulgaria.
Isaac goes for the inside.
Isaac keeps the right line and makes the pass.
Yeah, Isaac Price up in the lead now.
Yeah, the Union back leading and on 3rd, and I guess this smelled like they are really racing for a double victory for the Union Jack.
Yeah, I think we have a three-way here for 5th, 6th and 7th between Poland, Lithuania and Spain. Probably gonna catch up with Serbian car here. Bump drafting.
Spain had contact with the inside retaining wall in the King.
Let's see if Nojek goes for the move here. Oh, Runas makes a late dive past Nojek, and there's so much contact. Oh, and the spin! No, the Serbian car spins.
Spain hits Serbia with really no chance to avoid him, and
I have to
both
say,
spin
that was
away.
a bit optimistic by Runas.
Yeah, that move was a late, really late move right there.
Runas made that 3 wide, and then there was just so little room left.
Yeah, Serbia definitely the loser out of that.
And now
Now
Joe,
Holmes.
right behind the Italian driver.
Yes.
And looking at some of the cars, I can see that the Lithuanian car actually has pretty much damage on his front right. He even has slight toe damage, which will probably make this car not drive like it should. So we're probably gonna see the Polish car Nojek catch up with him pretty soon. And back to the fight for second here, we have Joe Holmes in the draft of the Italian car. Let's see what he decides to do. He decides to stop bump drafting him. Let's see if he goes for an early move or a late move. Yeah, he goes for an early move for the inside.
Okay,
He's gonna make the switch back. No, he decides to let Joe go. But Joe brakes quite late there, almost going off the track.
I hope that Joe knows that it doesn't make any difference between finishing second or finishing first for the nation standings. Not that they try to race each other.
This is part where the ego comes in.
Yeah, and I remember the LFS kart race at West Hill, where
Let's not talk about that.
1-2 for what was called back then.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that.
I just want to remind you.
Yeah, I don't want to be reminded about that.
And already, like Timo said, the last lap, Brun is having problems with his damage. His right front is already heating up.
Yeah, his right front is heating up on the outside as much as it is on the inside. That's gonna be a big problem.
Lithuania and Poland now work together. At least they try to, or want to. Yeah, now they do. Well, not really, because Runas takes a defensive line through the King. Contact!
Ooh, there's contact!
Holy crap! What a save by Runas! And now Runas in the slipstream of Not Yet. Turn 1, but too much of an overlap for Not Yet. He could keep the car in front of him.
Yeah, and I think the damage for the Lithuanian car that doesn't help him when he's on the outside.
And it didn't help when you shift down way too early and you could hear his engine being raped.
But what was that for a save on the oval?
Yeah, that's one of the downsides with us doing sim racing. We have to adapt to network and internet, and sometimes there can be glitches, and when two cars are really close to each other, it can make the cars end up inside each other, and that is pretty much the worst thing that can happen. Looking back here, we have a battle from 8, 9 and 10, Spain and Bulgaria and Serbia. Oh, this contact between the Bulgarian Ivanov and Blasko was fighting.
Blasko made picture perfect move down there to the double left. Now Serbia and Bulgaria doing the bump draft. Oh, but not really. Well, Serbia always touches the edges of the back bumper, which can easily cause a spin. Now Serbia going to the inside, but Bulgaria had the better momentum, but somehow he made it through the inside because Bulgaria thought to lift the gas, not making the corner otherwise.
Battle for 6th. Both Lithuanian drivers.
Yep, this is the effect of Runa's damage that he has with the wishbone. He pretty much he has no camera whatsoever on that right front car. He just can't get it to turn when it comes to left turns. So he's probably gonna see himself being passed by quite a few cars at the end of the race.
Oh, contact! Those Lithuania guys should really think about it, because they are not racing for points for peoples, but for nations.
If I was one of the Lithuanian drivers, I would suggest to let the car with least damage and is faster, let him through and make the slower car just bump draft him to just gain him as much time as possible to get the maximum out of the two drivers. Try and help him to get up closer to the Polish driver Nojek there.
Bump drafting is a good thing here around the oval, but they really should remember that there is really no classification for drivers.
I don't understand why Runa's not letting his teammate die.
He's just making it worse, in my opinion. He should let the other guy pass, since he's driving with a huge damage. He's gonna be losing in the end anyway. Why hold your mate up just only for that? If it's about ego, I think that's wrong.
Ego is always something that makes little things even worse.
Yeah, not only is he making it worse for his own country, but he's making the other teams or other countries catch up by going slower.
Yeah, Belgium, who really had an let's say uneventful race, and now in 8th, and they are catching up those two Lithuanian drivers.
Well, there's no bigger position changes in top 4, top 5, top 4 at least. We still have the 2 British driver, 1, 2. The Italian guy who started on pole, Cravado, he's still running strongly in 3rd. And Daskovic is slowly catching him up. So we have 2 Polish drivers, 4th and 5th. And then the 2 Lithuanian drivers. Belgium, Spain, Serbia, Bulgaria, Latvia, 2nd Serbian car. Turkey running in 14th. And Latvia in 15th.
Slovakia then in 16th. The 2nd Italy car in 17th. Turkey's 2nd car in 18th. And just going into pit lane, the 2nd, well, the only US car still running. And they will make a pit stop.
Don't know what he's done to his tires, but they were red.
Yeah. And sorry, quickly, just saying here, we actually have a fight for the lead. We have Isaac Price and Joe Holmes going side by side, entering the last sector of corners here. Joe is in his draft. Let's see. No, Isaac goes for a bit of defensive move, but Joe moves to the inside. Let's see if he can outbreak him. No, he can't. Isaac keeps the position.
Contact.
Wait, oh, there's lots of contact here.
This is smart. It's like Timo said, the ego comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see right here, instead of bump drafting, he decides to go for the move, which will just slow them both down.
Well, I would love to see when those 2 guys are really throwing it away, that the Queen comes into their house and slaps them into the face, because this is really team racing, not individual racing.
And Isaac, I think, in my opinion, he shouldn't do a comeback. Why bother?
And again they try a move. Moreover, with all these moves, they really do nothing good to their tires, which gives Italy even more of an advantage, while Turkey just retired because disconnected. And I mean, we've still over 7 laps to go.
Yeah, looking a bit further back here in the field, we have a fight for 9th between Spain, Serbia and Bulgaria. Looking at the tires, I think the Serbian car is the car with the better tires at the moment. Really can't see any huge damage on this Spanish car though. I think it's just over pushing it at the moment. And the second Serbian car really close to the Latvian car, Kampars in 12th, I mean. Yeah, he's definitely in the draft here, so we're gonna see a position fight here for 12th between Latvia and Serbia. Let's see what he decides to do, if he goes for the move. Yes, looks like he's gonna bump draft. That's right. It makes a small tap and then lifts off. Goes for the outside move, tries to get a better exit out of the oval here. I think it's too far away to do anything right now though. Unless he makes a dive bomb. No, he decides to not do that. Oh, the Latvian car running really wide on the braking there. Gives Serbia the inside line, and I think he's passed. Yes, Serbia passed for 12th there. Latvia coming back. Good exit there. Serbia still has the inside for turn 3. Side by side going here.
Touring car racing at its best now through
and
over the outside.
Latvia takes it around the outside.
And now builds up a massive, well, not a massive gap, but a gap between those two.
Oh, and we have, sorry for interrupting there, we have Serbia, the second Serbian car, and a Spanish and Bulgarian car, all fighting for there's a contact,
goes through the inside.
They both run so wide, and Bulgaria is the winner of that by getting 2 positions in one corner, because Serbia and Spain had contact and just were pushed up. We have Spanish car,
Spanish car.
That looks like that's a pop-up. That's definitely a pop-up for Spain. Yeah.
Pop-up and a lag and, well, it is a lag and disconnect. Well, not disconnect, timeout.
I think he closed his game and it just shows them as a timeout. Because he was turning left and just sort of giving out because his tires was red.
It's
but still valuable points. I mean, even if you lose those 2 positions, it's valuable points for your country. I can't really see the point why quitting, even if you're running back in 9th or 10th.
Also, if you close the game, it is a disconnect and not a timeout.
I think that was a pop-up of some sort, or a computer freeze or anything something like that.
Because of these Lithuanian drivers fighting for position when it doesn't really matter for points, they've been losing a second per lap.
Yep, they decided that we can't get any further in this race, so let's just have fun and race. Only between us two, but I'm afraid this would give the Belgian team a chance to get back. There's still 5 laps to go, and if they keep this up, and then the Belgian car will catch up. And going back to the front here, we still have Joe Holmes in the lead over Isaac Price, so we have British cars 1, 2. And there's someone off here.
Yeah, that's Ray Kingsbury for USA in the second USA car. The first one retired earlier after contact with Canada.
So that's not good for the American. We have fight for 30 here coming up. We have the 2 Polish drivers chasing down the Italian driver. Let's look at how the tires look here. Yeah, tires are fairly good on all 3 cars. Nojek hits the wall on the exit of the last turn out on the oval though, so he's definitely lost the draft. Looks like Daskovic is in the draft of the Italian driver though, so he might be able to do something here at the end of this oval. Now he might be just out of it. He's just outside the draft here.
Daskovic shifted into 5th very, very late compared to the Italian driver, and I think he got the advantage.
Yeah, Daskovic definitely putting pressure here on the Italian driver. Let's see how he handles that.
Oh, they're now close together.
Yes,
Italy versus Poland.
Yes, and this will give Nojek the chance to get back into this fight.
Lithuanian drivers side by side. They had some contact into turn 3.
Yeah, Lithuanians going hard on each other, having some fun.
And now Cavato versus Daskovic, Italy versus Poland.
Yeah, is definitely because there's contact between the Italian driver and Daskovic here, but this means Nojek is right behind his fellow countryman here, and they will be able to bump draft past the Italian driver here.
Unless the Italian does something magic here. From what we've seen, the bump draft is strong enough to even pass a car around the outside.
Yep, let's see here.
They have a huge momentum.
Yeah, the Italian guy goes for the defensive line and causes Zaskovic having to lift off.
Ooh.
Daskovic still having the inside here. They're gonna go 3 wide into turn 1. No, Daskovic gives the position to Nodjet, who goes on the inside. Goes sideways! Sideways! He's drifting on the inside of the Italian.
How did no one make
still on the
contact?
outside. He's able to keep it. And there's slight contact! No, that slows the Italian car down, and both the Polish cars get through. Wow. I bet we can hear some Italian swear words right now.
Yeah, he got pushed off.
Yes. Will be interesting to see if this one is protested and how the outcome of a protest would be. It was hard on the edge, really, because pushing someone off is not fair while bumping is.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between slight contact and pushing someone off to get an advantage.
And I mean, this really a big advantage, having both nation cars in front of another nation.
Yes, of course, and this means there's 2 British cars, 1-2, and then followed by 2 Polish cars. And the lonely Italian in between there, between Lithuanians and Polish. Let's see, Nojek does not make a lift to get his countryman into the draft. 3 laps to go. 2, I mean.
No, 3.
Is it 3? No, it's not. It's 2.
It's 3.
It's 3.
It would be 2 in R factor.
Correct.
All these different sims with different countings.
Yeah, and it's gonna take quite a lot for the Polish drivers to be able to catch up with the British here, I think, unless something happens. Let's see if we have any fights here for positions.
To that point of the race, it's pretty much sorted out.
Looks like everyone's like fairly spread out.
Yeah,
No one's
it
fighting.
is.
So, USA just drove into the pit lane. And they retire, most likely.
Looks like the Italian driver is back on a charge here. I think he's closing in the gap on Daskovic.
I think he's inside that helmet, he's raging. And he just wants to get them back.
That's the Italian heart that now pushes him over his talent limits or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he was quite passive all the race until that point there. He wasn't really involved in any position fights or anything. He was just driving around in third, and then in one move being being passed by 2 cars. It can pretty much get anyone trying to push harder than you actually can. We'll see if you can catch up with these guys here.
On the last lap he was nearly 2/10 faster than the Polish car in front.
Yep, and looking at his tires are actually a few degrees cooler than the car of Daskovic here, which could play a role. He's definitely on a charge. His lines through T1 there was much better than Daskovic, who I think is starting to feel a bit pressure here.
As a side note to this, the only XRT left is now the last car in this race on 16th. Everyone else retired.
And we have a fight here for 11th between Latvia and Serbia again. Serbia with the better looking tires at the moment.
Oh, we just got told that Campos has incorrect restrictions, so he doesn't have the 3% intake restrictor in the car, which, well, consequently means that he will be disqualified after the race.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised, because those 3% can make quite a big difference in these cars, and I mean, running down in 12th, 11th without restrictions, it's not too good.
Final lap.
Entering the final lap, the Lithuania guys making here the party. Side by side into turn 1. And Runas tries to keep the outside line, doesn't keep it. And rises now in 6th position. Doesn't make really a difference in points, but for the ego, I think Runas was the faster driver with a without
the damage.
Without the damage, right? And so that rises just overtook Runas is. I think that will feel good for Rises.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these guys.
Oh,
when Runas goes for the inside again. Oh, so close. Not even Simon Capel could fit his finger in between those cars.
That's true. Listen, oh, Runa's down to the inside! What a dive bomb!
Oh.
But all fair, all cars keep straight.
And
Is
Joe
he able
Holmes
to get back in the draft? As we have, Joe Holmes here coming for the finish here. To get the win, get the 1-2 for Britain. Passing the start finish right there. And we have Britain 1-2 and Poland 3-4, Italian 5, and then we have the Lithuanian guys here, side by side. Oh, Runa's making a lift, letting his teammate pass. I just felt a bit guilty right there. And we have Belgium in 8th.
Bulgaria 9th, Serbia 10th, Latvia 11th, but will be disqualified because of no handicap restrictions. The other Serbian car will therefore move into 11th, Turkey therefore in 12th, 13th Latvia, 14th Italy, the second car, and 15th Slovakia. So, and you don't have to be a prophet to, to get that Great Britain will most likely lead the championship after round 1.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, we had the 2 Polish cars finishing in front of both the British cars in first race.
Yes, right.
So, I think the difference right there was too big, so I think the Polish team is the one who's gonna have the points lead after this. Nothing is gonna be decided at the moment. There's probably gonna be tons of protests and everything that the administration has to go through, and penalties handed out. So we're probably gonna see a few official results within probably a few days. but these are
When you say
provisional ones.
protest, there are already 2 of them. 3 of them, actually.
Yeah.
With again one against with one against Slovakia for not using the intake restriction in the qualifying session. That's going to be interesting how this all will be sorted out, but as for now, we've seen some good racing here, some surprisingly clean racing also.
Yes, I'm much surprised. I thought it was going to be much harder, more ITCC than it actually was here, but people were driving quite clean actually. I was a bit mad or a bit disappointed at the first 2 starts. I wanted to see more action, but we saw what happened in the third when people started crashing on the pace lap.
Yeah, and our next station of this series will be at Blackwood, in the Formula BMWs. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's quite a common combination for. I mean, probably a lot of these guys are old demo drivers, so they have probably 5,000 to 10,000 laps on this track. So I have a feeling it's going to be quite even when it comes to pace on this track, especially for the top guys.
Although the regular Grand Prix chicane is missing, we're using the open configs,
which will make it even more even.
Yeah, true that.
As you have less obstacles in the track to maneuver past.
It will also make, I guess,
and I don't know if we have the
cleaner. Because
I think we have the streamer here driving a lap around the track as well. I don't know if he's going the right way at the moment.
He's going the wrong way.
Yeah, I think our streamer here is going the wrong way on the track.
No, it's right way. It's right.
Oh, okay, there we have.
It's the right way from what I know.
Exactly, yeah.
So anyone who's spectating still, you can see you're gonna see the layout, the new layout of this track at the end of the lap here, without the chicane.
I'm hoping it's the right layout, because I don't have it, so I think Christy uploaded it.
I've done a couple of laps with this with a teammate.
Oh, that's chicane. I just
this is a chicane.
You should have
pretty tight chicane, like some street courses. Okay,
yeah, I have to say that was
first lap.
Yeah, I have to say that chicane was quite narrow.
Are you sure we're going to do that chicane?
That will cause incidents. Definitely, that will cause incidents.
A lot of risks going into that chicane.
Yeah.
That's we have our streamer Team Vires here, doing a new world record on this track.
Okay, now 1 lap around the track. Here downhill to the right-hander, under the bridge. Now coming into a left-hander.
Oversteer.
Through the A bridge into a right-left chicane. Quite fast. Causing some problems for Phil. Now coming here to the left-hander at the end of the long back straight.
What do you think, Phil? You're an old schooler in Need for Speed. You've been driving for ages. What do you think about this chicane? You think it's gonna cause a lot of problems?
Well,
just FYI, we can't hear Phil. Remember?
Right. Yeah, we have our streamer. We can't hear him, but he said that he doesn't like it.
Well, and Phil liked that one chicane so much he wanted to do the Grand Prix chicane also. So anyway, that gives you an impression of what is there to come.
Yes. And while we have one of the head admins here, Miro Rauti, what do you think about the first round here? Was it over your expectations when it comes to drivers and racing and everything that comes to that?
Oh yeah, definitely. When we did the test race about, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we had 15 cars starting, 6 cars finishing. I wasn't expecting for so many drivers to drive here, and such clean racing, and just I'm speechless. It was so good.
Yeah, I have to say, watching the race today as well, I'm pretty impressed with some of the racing here. It was fun to look at from a spectator point of view.
Yeah, myself, I think it was one of the best action in this whole year, 2011, that we have seen so far.
Well, you missed a lot of races, so I'm not gonna comment on that, but
Well,
yeah, it was definitely good.
Yeah. It's up there in the top 10 at least.
Yeah, we still have lots of rounds to go here. I'm personally gonna say that racing these road cars are quite forgiving when it comes to making mistakes and etc. We're gonna have much more advanced combos coming up later in the season, which is gonna be more demanding on talent of the driver and preparation of the driver. As we saw the Canadian driver, Kenneth O'Keefe, which is a really fast guy when it comes to racing, just had a terrible setup that was really bad to drive, and you saw how he did. So it's gonna come down to being more prepared for each race.
That's right, yeah.
Well, anyone has anything else to say here before we give this up for the evening?
Well, I'd like to thank you all for commentating this race today, so yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Miro, for making this happen. It was a nice time to spend a Saturday, even though I've never commentated myself before, so it was an experience as well. And we're probably gonna be watching, if you stay tuned to this channel, we're gonna be watching Drivers World Championship in iRacing in 2 hours, where me and Phil has our teammate Jake Sturgis trying to qualify in for driving in the race at Silverstone in the F1 Williams. So if you're not up to anything in 2 hours, join back in this channel to watch some more racing action.
Yeah, in case you like iRacing.
iRacing is good.
I mean, there are seriously guys out there who don't like it. So, anyways, great to be here in the commentary booth, and thank you that you've invited me after my let's say well,
let's say thank you, everyone.
After my improvable experience out there on track.
Alright, with those words, we're gonna end up here. We're gonna stop this streams for now. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and probably see you at the next race.
Yeah, and also thank you to Chris Ford, Jonathan Palmer, and I hope I didn't forget anyone who also commentated here on the stream today. It was a long day. Thank you that you have been watching it. Good night, and stay tuned for DWC.
Alright.